Peace be unto you. My topic today is entitled, I Move Not. And my text is taken from Acts 20, verses 22 to 25. Living for God is the best life experience that you can have, affecting eternity and not just the temporary that give life meaning. Once we decide to live for God completely, we will experience more exhilaration than a mountain climber, more excitement than a professional athlete, and more expectation than a heroic soldier. It is unfortunate that some think of the Christian life as boring and uninteresting. God never intended our spiritual life to be a hobby or a weekend event, but a life adventure. Paul in verse 24 said, none of these things move me, whether it be distress, danger, or death. We need to remember these verses. Psalm 16 verse 8 and 1 Corinthians 15 verse 58. Four anchors the Apostle Paul had. Notice, first, he had a sense of destiny. This is missing in most people's lives today. They don't know who they are, why they are here, or where they are going. They are meandering aimlessly with no grand purpose or destiny. We need to have some goals, some plans, and envision the future. We need something bigger than our own stomach to live for. And some of us have big tummies. If we don't, then life will be dull and meaningless. Are you in survival mode? God wants us to live, not just exist. Paul lived for a higher purpose, so he could say of this world and its problems, none of these things move me. Secondly, he had a sense of dedication. Romans 12 verse 1. Some have jumped and some are still jumping from church to church to find victory in their Christian life or to find a church that can help them physically. Friends, is your goal only to get from God and not giving to Him? In addition, it is not, do I have all of God, but does God have all of me? Read Colossians 2, Ephesians 1, verse 3, 2 Peter 1, verse 3. We need to present our bodies as living sacrifice. Thirdly, he had a sense of declaration. Paul was called to preach. In Bible days, they didn't have computers and fax machines, text messaging, or instant messaging. They didn't even have the primitive communications of telephone, telegraph, or tell women. Paul's declaration was to preach the gospel, and he did so wherever he went. What is your declaration? Fourth, he had a sense of duty. Verse 26 to 27. Please note that a watchman on the wall in biblical times, especially in the Old Testament, will look out for approaching enemies and will sound the alarm. If he didn't, and people died in the attack, he was said to have their blood on his hands and he would have to answer for it. Ezekiel 3 verses 17 and 18. This was Paul's sense of duty. Paul knew that people needed to be rescued from everlasting torment in hell. I get the sense that many have forgotten, ignored, or they don't believe in hell anymore. In closing, God help us to be like Paul in determination, destiny, dedication, and to do our duty for Him.